While recording the intro to this video, I sound like I'm talking with a lisp, so I'm just gonna go ahead and re-record it. So, hey, I'm just closer. Remember me from this video? Or maybe even the EDP video? Or maybe even the techie video? Well, if you answered yes to at least one of those, then thank you. Also, this video is more audio based than anything, so I suggest you go do something productive. Wash the dishes, clean your room, pay your bills. Whatever you have to do that's productive, go ahead and do it while watching this video. But there will be times where you have to come back and actually watch the video to understand the story of Sonic 06. All I'm telling you is that there's less editing in this video and it's more gameplay focused than anything. But there will be cutscene segments, so you might have to actually look down at your phone or look at your monitor for once. Sonic 06 is a game that has been widely regarded as a terrible Sonic game. And not just a terrible Sonic game. It's on most lists for worst games ever made. You can even fact check me. This game is hated more than cancel culture. But despite all that, I'm here to defend it, as I believe this game isn't as bad as people make it out to be. While yes, this game definitely isn't perfect, nor do I believe it to be one of the best games ever made, I'm just simply stating why I believe this game isn't as bad as people make it out to be. Let's begin with Sonic's story. Sonic's story opens up with a beautiful cutscene. It's hard to believe this game is made in 2006. With these graphics, it's wonderful. 8 out of 10 honestly. But from the opening of Sonic's story, you can tell his story will be based off the protection and retrieval of Princess Elise, aka the worst human character in Sonic freaking history. Also, Sonic's gameplay is the only gameplay to have Mach speed sections. These segments contain Sonic running at, well, Mach speed, but these segments have been widely hated by everyone, even people like me. I'm not gonna say these sections were fun to play, because I remember at one point as a child, I wasn't able to get past this part, and this part alone was the reason I was never able to beat the game as a toddler. These sections require a lot of skill and muscle memory, something I feel like I shouldn't have to do unless it's a boss fight, but now that I'm older and more mature, it's not that bad to deal with. But skip all the trials and longest loading screens and good but not best levels. Let's get to Crisis City, which is in my opinion the best stage to come out of this game. And I was so happy when they brought it back in Sonic Generations. This level was just so cool and unique to me. But this level takes place in the future, specifically Silver the Hedgehog's future. But that's something we'll get into later. Team Sonic and Team Dark meet up in the future, aka Silver's timeline. But who really cares about him? I'm just kidding, Silver's cool. Team Dark informs Team Sonic that they're in the future and that if they want to get back to their timeline, they need
the space-time rift, but this requires a lot of energy.
or 2 Chaos Emeralds. That works too, you know. And then you hop straight into Crisis City. And yeah, it starts off with Sonic snowboarding on buildings, which as a kid, I used to think this was so cool. Even now, it's still pretty cool to me. But after that segment, you go back to the basic level format. But wait, after that, you go back to a Mach speed section. So we have 3 different gameplay formats in one level. Okay, I think you heard enough of Crisis City. Let's move on. But I can't talk about Crisis City and not talk about Flame Core. A lot of people hate Flame Core because of how tedious it can be. I get it. When I played as Knuckles in this game, I was annoyed as well, bro. But I still find his gameplay cool and unique, sometimes fun to play. Is it perfect? No, it's definitely not perfect, but it's fun when used right. Another thing about this level is boss fight at the end. I'm not gonna sit here and defend this boss because it takes so long for no reason at all. This video is why I think Sonic 06 is not bad. Not the best. At the end of this level though, we get a look at a part of Shadow's story where he stays behind for some odd reason. Best Sonic villain hands down. But that's the end of my level rant. Let's go back a bit to the Silver rival battles. Some of you people might get PTSD from this next clip. The Silver the Hedgehog rival fight is, for lack of a better word, easy. I don't see how you people struggle with this fight. There's a whole strategy to this fight. Let me break it down to all you slow people out there. At the start of the fight, run away and wait for him to say, "How about this?" Then homing attack him. Then back up, rinse, repeat until you win. Just to lose and get saved by freaking Amy Rose. Let's go. Clap it up for the star female Sonic character. We'll come back to the scene in Silver's story, but cut to the end of Sonic's story. We at this point in the story are now allies with Silver. Yeah, Silver switched up that fast. The man's 14 and he got lied to. Cut the man some slack. But seriously, in Sonic's story, we don't get an explanation for why he's an ally now. Sonic just asks what's going on. And Silver replies with,
to rescue the princess.
That's a very not telling reply. Then Sonic is just like, he replies with a thumbs up. I'll just be honest, I was gonna say something corny here, but I'm not gonna say it. But in all seriousness, this cutscene is very true to Sonic's character. He's always been an I see good in everyone type of guy, and that's evident from how he reacts in previous games like Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. And to see Sega staying true to that is good. Also, this game is really good at intertwining the 3 character stories together. Like now you are confused for why Silver is on Sonic's side, but later it gets explained in Silver's story. But fast forward even more, and we see Sonic fighting the Egg Weaver as the final boss. And this fight, for lack of a better word, was pretty mid. This fight was mid. It reminds me of the final boss for Sonic's story in SA2, and both fights were pretty alright to deal with. But this end cutscene is pretty cool to me.
time to worry, then none, right?
Nice smile.
Why, you ask? List the reasons why it's pretty cool to me. 1. The graphics are insanely great for 2006. Sonic in this scene is defined very well. The background music is just so good. But there's one problem. Elise. It's clear Sega was trying their best to make her a likable character and a character people would want to see more in the future. Instead, the scene made me and many others dislike her even more. But seriously, Sega, let's talk. Who came into work and pitched Sonic 06 to you, right? And then when they told you about Elise, who said, yeah, that's good, and put her in the game? Did you guys forget Amy exists or something? But that's enough of Sonic's story. On to the other two stories.
Transmission from HQ. There's an SOS coming from Dr. Eggman's base. Our last communication with our agent was 26 hours ago. We expect an immediate rescue. Shadow the Hedgehog.
Understood. Initiating the mission now.
Okay, now to my favorite of the three stories, Shadow's story. His story focuses more on the pursuit and capture of Mephiles the Dark, a story without Eggman being the main villain. As you can tell from that opening scene, this story will take a more dark and ominous tone to itself. So please, if you can't take a little bit of that, leave now or skip to the timestamp on screen. Shadow's story gets straight to the point in the second level, Kingdom Valley, when Shadow and Rouge are assigned to go there by G-Win. There they find Dr. Eggman, who informs them of the Solaris Project, a project named after the Soliana sun god. But what I want to point out in the scene is the fact that Eggman acknowledges the two as if he's worked with them in the past, in which he has worked alongside those two back in SA2. A lot of people say Sonic 06 doesn't hold true to the characters' personalities, but from stuff like this, I have to disagree. Also, after Eggman releases robots on Shadow and Rouge, Rouge flies up and gets hit and starts falling right after, and the Scepter of Darkness falls as well. Shadow could have left Rouge to fall, but instead he saved her instead of the Scepter. It goes to show that their friendship from SA2 and Heroes has grown a lot, and therefore this game has pretty good character development, and that Sega at the time understood the direction they wanted to go with these characters. But remember that part in the Flame Core when Shadow stayed behind? Well, he stayed behind because he was alarmed by seeing Mephiles, and therefore pursues him. And then the, I believe, second best boss fight kicks off. You fight Mephiles, not only as Shadow, but later when you play as Rouge and retrieve Omega, he comes back and helps Shadow later in the story. However, it is revealed by Mephiles that Omega will be the one to defeat Shadow in the future at his own will, and Shadow is visually hurt by this news, and he even widens his eyes a bit, which Shadow almost never does. But as Shadow is leaving to finish Mephiles off, Rouge delivers this line.
Even if you believe everyone in the world will be against you, know that I'll always remain by your side. Remember that.
And Shadow replies with, I will. This shows the sadness that not only Shadow, but the entire Team Dark felt when hearing this news, that one of their team members will eventually turn on them. This is something I believe a lot of the 2010 games lacks. They've all been full of just not funny jokes and total misrepresentations of characters. Stuff like this really makes me think 06 isn't really that bad of a game, because of how these characters aren't misrepresented and the amount of ambition this game had. I wish current day Sonic games would do this, and I prefer this over what we have now. But let's wrap Shadow's story up, shall we? And get to the final Mephiles boss fight, which is a somewhat repeat of the last boss, but I can forgive it for this final cutscene in Shadow's story.
destroyed!
The Eye of Now absorbed your power through your shadow in the past. What may have worked 10 years ago no longer does. You must realize now that you cannot hope to stop me with your limited power.
So you say.
It's futile. The world will betray you. Why fight at all? Why risk your life for those who will persecute you later?
If the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have.
This scene pretty much sums up why Shadow Story is the best story in Sonic 06.
This world was devastated before I was born. A harsh, bleak place where we live in eternal darkness. Life is a struggle, and people live without hope. How did this happen? No one will answer me directly, but they always point to the flames. These flames, they burn away at my world, destroying everything in their path. They come from an eternal life form that we cannot truly defeat, the flames of disaster known as Iblis.
Silver!
Blaze, what's wrong?
He's appeared again!
The story really requires me to go in order, so I'll try my best to do that. But if I don't, do not unsub or dislike the video. Anyways, let's begin. This cutscene is the opening to Silver's story, and right off the bat we can see what type of character Silver is. A young, vengeful, poetic kid. It is after we play the best level and a pretty mediocre boss fight, where we see this is the second person Mephiles visits after he is released by Shadow. And here, Mephiles tells Silver that Sonic is the Iblis trigger, which is obviously not true, but with Silver being so full of vengeance, he believes him and pursues Sonic. But during all this, Blaze seems to be familiar with the description of a blue hedgehog. This is accurate because in previous games like Sonic Rush, Blaze and Sonic team up and become friends, so it is very cool to see her acknowledging that description. But fast forward to this scene, where Silver meets Amy due to her mistaking him for, dare I say it, she mistakes him for Sonic for the 15 millionth time in this series. But upon meeting Amy, she tells you she's looking for Sonic and asks can you help her. Silver doesn't officially agree, but you play Dusty Desert anyway, and you get to play as Amy, so that's cool, am I right? But after Dusty Desert, Amy mentions how you both haven't located Sonic yet, and right after she says this, Silver spots Sonic and Elise, and it is here where you go through the Sonic rival battle, which may I say is done in a pretty decent way, but I won't elaborate because, well, we'll be here for a while if I explain why. But afterwards, you get the same cutscene from Sonic's story, but it gets dragged on to show Silver's POV, and Amy gives Silver a big speech.
The person you were looking for was Sonic. Were you planning to kill him?
He's responsible for destroying my world!
That's crazy! Sonic would never do that.
But it's true! In the near future, his actions will cause the devastation of my world! So I must—
No! I don't believe it. Even if that was true. If I had to choose between the world and Sonic, I would choose Sonic.
Aren't you freaking crazy, Amy? Like, I would not choose Sonic over the world. I would choose the world over Sonic. But after this whole ordeal, Blaze finds Silver sitting on a staircase, and Silver asks her, is killing someone to save the future the right thing to do? And in my humble opinion, yes, if that person is the actual reason that is. Not because of some black recolored shadow reject tells you so. But Blaze gives him a short, simple answer because, well, it's Blaze, the second best female Sonic character. But they eventually decide to sneak into Eggman's base to find out more, whereas Silver says, learn something new. And then you play White Acropolis. And let me take a moment to mention Blaze's gameplay. A lot of people like to say she feels faster than Sonic in this game, but that is simply not true. Yes, her attacks are faster, but running, no, they're the same speed at running speed. And I'll be honest, out of every other side character in this game that we play as, she feels the best. But I said side characters, not main characters, meaning Shadow's gameplay is still the best in my opinion. But after beating Egg Genesis for what, the third time in this game, you find the Chaos Emerald, and we get a cutscene with Amy. Yeah, let's just skip over this. Then you go through the Radical Train and fight Shadow as a rival because, well, he saved Sonic, and this is the third time. But after fighting Shadow, you both travel back in the past to figure out what went wrong with the Solaris project and find answers as to why Silver's timeline is so messed up. You learned that a power overload caused the whole project to go up in flames, killing 3 scientists and the King of Soliana himself. And this whole ordeal caused the Solaris to be split into 2, Iblis and Mephiles. Both Shadow and Silver split up, and we know who Shadow pursues, so Silver pursues Iblis, the very thing that killed his world. But after playing Aquatic Base, you get this cutscene.
Hey! What are you doing? You've got to leave!
I have my duty. This living flame has been entrusted to the royal family. The flames of disaster will awaken if nothing is done. That must not happen. Eternal Sun, the living flame that has been entrusted to the royal family, fall into slumber with a royal soul.
In that scene, the king goes full-on Minato from Naruto and seals Iblis and his daughter. And Silver and Shadow returns to the present, where Blaze is waiting for Silver because she's just the best Sonic character, you know? Remember that part in the Sonic story where we didn't know what was going on? And we didn't know why Silver is good now? Well, now we know. We can skip to the end of Silver's story, where you play Flame Core and fight the final form of Iblis. But afterwards, you get this cutscene. And it is pretty sad in my opinion.
Chaos Emeralds, lend me your power. Eternal Sun, the living flame that has been entrusted to the royal family. Fall into slumber with my soul, Iblis, you cursed flames of disaster! No! Why won't it accept me as the vessel? Blaze!
I'll take Iblis. Don't worry. My soul is already alit with flames. I will be accepted. Come on, make it quick. Use your chaos control to stop time. Then seal us into a different dimension.
No, I can't do that to you.
Didn't we already go through this? We agreed to save the world at any price!
I can't! I wouldn't know what to do without you! You fought alongside me to save the world! You're my friend, right?
You're still so naive. But I've always liked that about you.